that one. Hi, and welcome to a new week of Tuesday Talks. My name is Rebecca Hansen, and I use these opportunities to speak with people that pour into my life and help me to be uplifting and encouraging and inspiring. And today I'm really excited to share some time with the guys from Vortex Videogames. Today we're highlighting Chris Lee and Otto Hansen. Otto is my husband, and Chris is my very best friend in the whole world, and I'm really glad they are here with me today. So Chris and Otto, welcome to Tuesday Talks.
Hey, thanks for having us.
So can you tell me a little bit about your history and how your friendship and your business started, and just give us a little bit about Vortex?
We kind of both met over video games. I used to work at another store, and he was a customer at that store for a time. And then, just kind of got to talking, and then I don't remember how many months in, but we wound up going on a trip together down to Tennessee to see a bunch of friends and things like that we had met online through a video game forum, because they were having a big get together down there. And we just kind of, I guess, bonded more over that time. And then eventually got to talking and decided to kind of, go together and open up a store, doing, or having the things that we enjoy, which is video games and toys.
Chris, how long have you guys been open, and what kind of business do you usually do as far as, special sales, or what is your, what's your product that you're selling?
We've been open nearly 5 years in this location. We spent a lot of time trying to find a spot that suits our customers really well. We wanted good parking. We wanted to be in kind of a centralized location off of a major artery, so it was easy to get to. And we found this location here in Watervliet / Latham, and it works really well. The products that we sell, it ranges from vintage video games all the way up to the new stuff, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and we'll carry the new stuff, PS5 and Xbox Series X when it comes out. We also carry vintage toys, board games, generally weird stuff, and our customers love it. The kind of clientele that we get are very similar to Otto and I, kind of quirky, sometimes neurotic, very knowledgeable, and very passionate about some of the items that we have in here. From a lot of our customers, they give us an education more than we give them an education. And every single day at this shop, it is bonkers. It is never, ever, ever a normal day at Vortex.
I can actually agree on that one. I've seen it a couple times where I'm in awe. I feel like I know a lot about video games, but then I walk in and I'm just not qualified. All right, so guys, Otto, this would be a question for you. You can kind of put some insight into this. How have you guys been dealing with everything during the quarantine? And you guys opened up during phase 2. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
COVID was kind of has been, it's still ongoing, but it's been a very fun whirlwind experience. So many awesome things have happened. Not really. It hasn't been the most fun with everything, but when things started originally going down, we wound up we closed I think about a week or so before they mandated that non-essential businesses shut down, just because we felt that there wasn't much information about what was going on. It was still like a lot of unknowns and things like that. So we decided kind of it best for our customer base and sort of the safety of everyone that we kind of shut down until they kind of figured out more what was going on, how everything was spreading, and things like that. We didn't really want to unintentionally put anyone in harm's way. So when we shut down, we kind of eventually, because we weren't allowed to be open or anything like that, just kind of pulled a bunch of our inventory out. We kind of resorted everything. We worked on resetting the store for when we were able to be open. and so we could, kind of have everything up and running when we were allowed to be up. So, we could just kind of march into it head first instead of, being told that we were allowed to be open and then just be like, well, whoops, we're not ready. So it was kind of a crazy experience. It's still crazy right now. And, we're doing our best to kind of keep everything cleaned, keep everything set up, and, keep our customers safe.
Where have where has most of your uh, experience come in regards to feeling like you guys are prepared to serve your customers in such a unique and scary time?
I would say we're just kind of, keeping up to date with the news, keeping up to date with, what the CDC says, and just all the different actual factual things that have come out and everything with it. So we kind of, at the end of the day, we just pretty much spray everything down and try to re-clean everything. During the day when customers are in here, I'm constantly just kind of wiping down the counter fronts that are kind of dealt with a lot, and our screens for credit card sales and things like that. I do that after each employee or each customer that comes in, just to make it. We have kind of little hand sanitizer stations, and we have the mask policy. So trying to keep everybody safe best we can.
I would love for you to tell the story about the time that somebody was, I know you had shared it on your private social medias, but I thought it was kind of neat how professionally you handled when there was somebody who came in who was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to wear a mask. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of an odd experience. I had another customer in here, and I was doing a trade-in, and all of a sudden, I heard somebody go, wow, this store is great. And I, thanked them, and I looked up as they were kind of asking me if I had an item, and I, noticed that they didn't have a mask on. And when somebody doesn't have a mask, we just kind of say, hey, our policy is, you have to wear a mask to, come in, just to keep everybody, safe, just in case. And if somebody doesn't have a mask, we have, masks here that we don't mind supplying. We don't charge anything for them or anything like that. So I let him know that he needed a mask if he wanted to be in here. And if he didn't have one, that, I had one available for him, no problem. And he just kind of, he looked at me and he said, no, that's okay. And then he just kind of started looking around the store going, wow, this is really great. So I kind of, looked at him again, and I said, hey, I'm really sorry, but if you want to continue to be in here, you're going to have to, wear a mask. And he just kind of made eye contact with me again. And he said, no, that's okay. Just like I didn't even say anything, and then kept going. So I repeated it a third time. I told him that, if there was something that he wanted, I could, work with him outside and everything and do the transaction out there. But, I have to keep, my other customers safe and everything like that. And he just kind of, he said, well, I guess I'll have to come back when quarantine's over then. And I said, no problem, no hard feelings or anything like that. And he wound up, leaving and everything. And it was just kind of like, okay. And went on with my day.
I'm very flawed when it comes to dealing with difficult people. So when I got the opportunity to hear that story, I was very inspired by how you handled that, because in my head, I beat people up a million times over when they frustrate me. And sometimes, I know this is hard to believe, especially from the two of you, but I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut. So,
no.
So I think that the way you handled that was really professional, and I would not have been so graceful. So I give you all the kudos and all the respect on that one.
All righty.
So while we're speaking about difficulties, Chris, can you tell me a little bit about how quarantine and the COVID situation has impacted your life, and how has it been on your family's life? I know you have Like your one son, he's out as a frontline worker, right, as they say. So how has this whole thing been for you?
Well, you worry sometimes about different levels of things. You worry about the world as a whole. You want it to be over for everybody. You worry about New York State. You see the numbers on TV, especially at the beginning, and the numbers in New York State are sky high. At one point during this whole thing, that New York State was the center of the whole world for infections, and it was I was harrowing there for a little while. And then our general area, you go out in public when you had to. And you would watch people wearing masks, and I remember one point thinking it was like a zombie outbreak movie, right towards the beginning, and it was pretty crazy. But on the smallest level, our business and our families, of course you worry about it every day. My wife is immunocompromised, and at the very beginning of all of this, there was a lot of confusion, and facts were kind of being debated. Should we wear a mask? Should it not be a wear a mask? Does COVID exist on surfaces longer than 24 hours? Otto and I bought all kinds of different cleaning materials at the very beginning, because the last thing we want to do is anybody get sick, and also we didn't want our families to get sick as well. So we spent a lot of time trying to sift out facts, and we always side on the side of err on the side of the caution, err on the side of caution, excuse me, to get that stuff figured out. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what's more important, money or safety. And every single time here, it's going to be safety. Every single time when people come in here, we're going to assure them that they're safe to shop, and we just don't want to take anything home with us either. So we do spend a lot of time cleaning and taking care of things.
Otto, what about you? So how has quarantine and the COVID situation, how has that impacted your life?
Um, I mean, it definitely kind of turned my business life on its head. I was still coming in here every day, but we weren't able to be open or anything like that. So I just kind of worked my way on that, just getting different things around here done that needed to be done, and also kind of sifting and sorting through a lot of the stuff that we were just kind of tossing on the back burner before all that, just because we didn't have the time to do it. My family life, I mean, you kind of know, right?
Yeah, I think we're okay. It's
Yeah.
it certainly has, like, on my end anyway, and I don't know how you feel about it, but being I guess being more living in the moment, because when pandemics and things like that happen, uh, the reality of what could potentially happen in your life, you start second guessing certain decisions that you made, and you're like, no, wait a minute, hold on, time out. I think I really want this, and I want to do, these things before life might change, so having to be able to, like, live in the moment, or just kind of just be present, and spend more time with Olivia. To Quite honestly, Otto's been at work a lot more than he usually does. And so that's been kind of taxing. I think that would be the only thing I would say, not on a negative front. He has to do, like, you guys have to keep the shop running. And it's not always just during business hours. We always joke about you guys just 24/7. You're not, but you might as well be. Your doors are open from 12 to 7, right? 7 days a week for the most part. And some days you guys work longer than that. And it's all the behind the scenes stuff that I don't think a lot of people really understand or really know. So that's kind of taxing on my wife's part, but that's helped me to be a better mom, and then also focus on my job as well. So.
Oh, for sure. It's Vortex After Hours.
Vortex After Hours. Yeah, we can't talk about that during this Zoom, but maybe if we ever do like a part 2, we'll do like a Tuesday talks from Vortex After Hours.
Oh,
And
there you
we'll
go.
see what happens. So this is the question for both of you. Who are some people that you glean inspiration or encouragement or things like that from? Who are people that kind of build you up to get you to where you are? Do you have anybody that you look up to, or anybody who kind of like pours into you?
You want to go
That's for
first?
both
You
of
want
you.
me to?
So whoever wants to answer first.
All right.
I've always looked up to people that overcome struggle, and overcoming struggle doesn't necessarily mean somebody who wins or somebody who is the best or somebody who gets everything they want in life. I've grown up with people, surrounded by people that are doing the best they can, and they don't have a parade, they don't have cheerleaders. They're out there doing the best they can, and it inspires me from a distance, quietly. It's so easy, especially in today's world, to come up against a problem or a struggle and then just quit. And I've seen people do that all the time too. I think one of the problems in the world today is there's a lack of hope out there. And I think hope is contagious. I think if people deal with problems with grace and dignity, and someone from across the room sees that, it's inspiring to them and they pass hope along. And I look for hope and inspiration everywhere. One of the a famous person that I pull a lot of inspiration from was Christopher Reeve. I spent time for a spell in the late '90s. I became a pen pal with Christopher Reeves and his wife, and we would share things back and forth over mail about different struggles that they had and the different visions that both of them together had, to get awareness out so that maybe disabled people wouldn't be forgotten. And they didn't expect anything for it, and a lot of times it was very taxing for them. And I had the tremendous admiration for that, because at the end of the day, they don't get anything at it. They were trying to spread hope and awareness to other people.
Yeah.
But also in my personal life, I'm surrounded by many, many, many people that I watch from afar, that watch what struggles, and they quietly inch towards the finish line, and just because that's what they do. One of the people that that's close to me that has overcome a lot of struggles, Rebecca, is you. We've talked many, many, many times about different things. And, when things get difficult and when things get dark, myself, sometimes I writhe and I get angry and I'll yell and bellow. And I try not to do that. I think a great way to spread hope is what you and Otto do when you guys have struggles. You're very dignified and you're very determined, and you don't run around telling the whole universe what's going on. And I take great inspiration from that, and watching you guys overcome different things in your life, both when you were children and now, and the way you handle yourselves. I try to model that, after you, because I can be a loudmouth myself too. But I've watched both of you from afar many times, and I've tried to emulate you.
Thank you. That was really nice. That was surprising, actually. Otto, what about you? Who are some people that you look up to?
I don't know if I'll go as in depth into this answer as Chris did, but there's a few different people that I look up to. I look up to my parents. I feel like they did a really good job raising me. Don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I'll toot their horn for sure. Um, I respect both of them a lot, and I'm very grateful that I had them in my life, and had them bring me up kind of to be who I am. Um, I also admire you. Um, Obviously, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, safe answer," and everything like that, but it's a true one. I admire you quite a bit, and I I don't know. I look up to you in a lot of ways, and I feel a lot of times that you make me a better person. Um, so thanks.
Mm-hmm.
You're not.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. I admire this guy too. He's helped me out a lot, and I feel like he's made me a better person too. One of my favorite things, kind of with the store and everything, is that I kind of get to hang out with Chris and get to have a lot of chats, either during the day or Vortex after hours. But, but yeah, it's a good time, and I'm appreciative to you know, the people I mentioned, and there's other people too, but you know, they kind of know who they are and everything as well. So
I will actually mirror and echo the sentiment of admiration. You guys, both individually, but as a collective, you guys are always encouraging to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be featuring you on Tuesday Talks. But you're both always reminding me of my worth and my value. You're always reminding me that my dreams are worth chasing after. Um, and you both encourage me in different ways, but they kind of, it's like having like a set of wheels on either side of me, you know, just kind of like it propels me forward, you know. So I've got like certain things that Otto will say that maybe sometimes Chris says something that has the same notion but in a different way, so it kind of, it gets moving. So, and then again, just the way that you guys live out your life, how you conduct business, and how you're putting, you know, your customers before the almighty dollar, in a time where money speaks and whoever has the most of it is the most powerful. You guys don't subscribe to that, and that's really heartwarming coming from a small business, because small businesses are really struggling right now during this time of quarantine.
that's one of the nicest things too. When we were able to reopen, you know, during phase 2 and everything like that. Something that was, you know, really kind of heartwarming, that I didn't quite expect, was a lot of customers came in, and are still coming in, and they, you know, come in and they're like, oh, you know, we're so happy to see you guys again. You know, we're so glad to see that you made it, and you know, you're able to reopen. I mean, you know, some people come in and they're like, oh yeah, I get to shop again, and everything like that. But you know, that, I mean, obviously that's cool too. But we've had a lot of people that have just stopped in to be like, hey, you know, like I'm happy to see you guys again, and you know, it's nice. It really is. So
Well, you
it,
guys made that. You know, you built a community, and you do things for the community, and I think that doesn't get lost on anybody. I have a bias, but I don't think anybody would say that I'm wrong. But I honestly, I'm not trying to start like a Jets versus Sharks thing, but I think you guys are pretty much the top game in town. Um, and just what you do for people is amazing. So
oh, well, thanks for saying that. That's very nice of you.
thanks for being awesome. You guys are great. So what's in the future for Vortex Video Games? What do we see down the line? Maybe 2 years, 5 years? Where are we?
Actually, I'm glad you said that. Next year, we're actually buying an aircraft carrier to have a Vortex Video Game aircraft carrier on the ocean. It's going to be awesome. That isn't true. No. Well, the hope is that in the near or distant future, that Vortex is going to be able to relocate to a much larger space. We've been saving our acorns, unfortunately, because of the COVID crisis. A lot of our savings that we were putting away to get a bigger building, we had to use that to keep us afloat. But you know, we'll keep chugging, we'll keep saving. And if the right location pops up that's local, we're hoping to move to a bigger location, have a store maybe 4 times the size of what we have now, arcade cabinets, all kinds of stuff, and continue the same type of feel, you know, when you come in. But we have so much stuff here that we can't put out because we can't fit it. So people are always excited when they come in. You could come in, you know, the very next day here, and a bunch of new things are out because we sold old stuff and we put the new stuff out. The hope is within 5 years to get a store that's 4 times the size of what we have, or 5 times the size we have. We'll put out everything at once, and that'd be great.
Anna, do you have anything to add to that?
I do not.
Well, thank you guys for spending some time with me. Go ahead.
Oh, are we done?
I guess. Did you want to have any questions?
Yeah, we have questions for you.
Okay.
I mean, Tuesday Talks it's not Tuesday interviews. It's Tuesday Talks. We're gonna have a talk.
Okay. I'm not prepared, but I will do my best. This is me off the cuff, so good luck.
Okay, this is awesome. Rebecca, could you share with our viewers what you do for a job?
Yeah, sure. So right now, my career is something I've been chasing after for many, many years. I am the pastoral associate for youth ministry, and that is at a church in Troy called Our Lady of Victory. But we also serve one in Grafton called Our Lady of the Snow. So we serve kids in Troy and in Brunswick, out in Grafton, and around those areas.
And it's you have a real talent for working with kids. You've worked with kids for a very long time as a camp counselor and a mentor. And I think the spot that you're at is fantastic. What I really want to talk about is chalk art.
Oh
Do you
no!
have any plans? Do you have any plans for new chalk art in the future, like out in front of Vortex Videogames or anything?
So one of the things that I was excited to do way back when was when I was working alongside my husband at a previous business. We had what we would call for Troy Night Out. They have like their every month thing, and so I would always do like chalk art outside of that shop in particular, and it was one of my mental health breaks. And going back to, saying how encouraging my husband is with my art and things, that was something where it didn't matter how busy that shop was. I would say, well, I really want to chalk this. I think I can do this. And so it started with Cubert. And it was like really quick and really easy. And I just threw it down. And then ever since then, it just kind of took off, right? So I just love it. I've done so many different things on the streets of Troy, and then also big murals in the Hudson Valley Chalk Festival. I even at one point went down to Florida, Sarasota, and did a team project with a wonderful young woman, and we did a giant, I think 20 by 20 Rosie the Riveter. It was really big and it was beautiful. And then I came back home and kind of tucked my art away. Um, Somebody really said some things that were hurtful to me at the time, and it took me a number of years to get that out of my head. So when COVID happened, it was a great time for me to revisit some of that. And I made this. I was really excited to do this. I collabed Dr. Mario with like Toad and some other things. And so I made Toad the Dr. Mario and did the little viruses outside. I thought it was very witty. I was so proud of myself. So I was like, ooh, it's a post-COVID time. So I was happy to welcome our customers back with some chalk art. Right now, Toad is still kind of disappearing outside of the front of the store. But in the future, once that gets washed away or scrubbed away or whatever, I do have, oh, okay. I do have two very important, specific, catered ideas for the two of you, because I would like to encompass somehow some of your favorite game titles as well, and then that will help our clientele to get to know you guys better too, and what things you like. So whenever the weather kind of calms down is good. It's been pretty hot lately. But also in regards to my chalk, for my job profession, right, as a youth minister, for the summertime, I have reached out to our families to socially distance, but join us maybe on their own pavements or their own driveways, or even, come down to the church. Every month there's a new chalk challenge. So the very first one I did to open up the chalk challenge was a picture of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And so that kind of kicked it off a little bit.
It was in a newspaper, correct? It got featured in a newspaper?
It got featured.
Like the whole back page was the chalk, right?
Yes, it got featured in the Catholic newspaper called The Evangelist.
What's also interesting, just as a kind of throwback to one of the things that you mentioned, I'm pretty sure, didn't the Rosie the Riveter that you worked on also make the front page?
It for the Florida paper, yeah, it did.
Oh, very nice. Who knew?
Yeah.
That was interesting. I was just curious. I couldn't quite remember. So
So, but I mean, for the summertime, I did, we focused on the Holy Spirit. So I did, a white dove inflamed. And then for Father's Day, I did a mural of St. Joseph the Worker with baby Jesus. And then also in times of the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's been going on within that community and just the terrible things that have been just breaking my heart. I reached out to a fellow artist. He's a religious artist. His name is Brother Mickey McGrath, and he did this awesome picture of Jesus falling with the cross. And across the cross, he wrote, "I can't breathe." And so I wrote to him and I asked for permission and licensing grant to recreate that. So I was able to do that too, and that actually got some recognition as well, which is kind of cool.
Seems like it'd be a running theme with you. I have one more question. I don't know if Otto does, but I'll ask my question.
Okay.
You could chalk anywhere in the world. Where do you want to chalk?
Oof, that's a big oof. Okay, so it's near impossible. I've researched, but I used to really, I don't know how important it is to me now, but I used to really want to chalk at Disney. There is a thing called the Mickey and Minnie festival, and it's about Minnie Coops. Like that was like a big thing. So I always wanted to be part of that festival, but you have to be like top notch. And as good as I am,
You mean like featured in a newspaper multiple
Stop it.
times?
I'm not quite as good as some of my other fellow chalk artists. There's a couple people I was humbled to be able to chalk alongside when I was at Hudson Valley and even down in Florida that are just amazing talents. They do 3D art or they do even 4D where they kind of certain things, you interact with them. I'm not there. That's not my wheelhouse. I'm kind of light and airy, and I just kind of keep it cartoony or video game related, and so that's just what I'm comfortable with. So, but I think I don't have a specific place I want to chalk. I want to chalk where I can encourage and inspire people to also want to chalk, wherever that is.
Very nice.
Did you have any questions regarding chalk art, Otto?
No, I think I'm okay.
Oh, okay, great. Anything else? Any other questions?
No, not
Okay.
that I can think of.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for just being yourselves. Thank you guys for all the time that you spend with me, helping me through some crazy times. And thank you for helping me to be the person that I am today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Tuesday Talks. If you have any follow-up questions for the guys at Vortex, feel free to either inbox me or I'll put the link to their business page, and they also have an Instagram page. So I'll put that in the comment section. And feel free to check in again. I don't know who's on tap for Tuesday Talks for next week, but as soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. Chris, Otto, thanks so much again.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.